you will need a light box and a set of registration pegs. A paper punch, some paper, and of course, pencils and an eraser. The light box will allow you to view your previous drawings, to enable you to do the next key, or the in-between drawings. The registration pegs keep all the drawings in place. The punched paper must fit snugly on the pegs. If the holes are too big and the paper is loose, your animation almost certainly will jiggle. With traditional animation, as in this course, the drawings are done on paper, then they are traced, or photocopied onto cellulose acetate sheets, called cells, then painted on the reverse side. In the camera department, cells are placed onto the background and shot, or filmed, frame by frame. A professional animation desk has a revolving disc, but a beginner can start with something as simple as a sheet of glass, suspended over a light source. This homemade portable light box was made to fit inside an old briefcase. A light box and peg bar are the most important pieces of equipment you will need. Ideally, the drawing surface must be at a right angle to your line of vision. For a light source, a fluorescent tube is much better than an incandescent bulb, as the latter can get very hot. Many animators prefer double fluorescent tubes, as this reduces the flickering effect that can cause eye strain. The standard 1 round and 2 flat pin peg bar is ideal, but a special Academy paper punch is needed, which is quite expensive. A 2-pin paper punch, on the other hand, is inexpensive and easily obtained. If you have an adjustable punch, set it at its widest position, for more stability. Punch a piece of cardboard, to be used as a guide. For the bar, a strip of perspex can be used, or, if you are ambitious, you can make one out of aluminum. It must be just wide and long enough to accommodate the pegs. Draw a line lengthwise across the center of the strip. Use the punched guide to mark the positions, for the center of each peg, using the same edge of each hole, to mark a crosshatch on the center line. Most punches produce holes, spaced 8 cm apart, measured from their centers. These might vary slightly, between different brands. Score the centers of each hole carefully, and drill the holes, using a drill size that matches the punched holes. I used a 7/32" drill bit, as that size fitted my punch size best. Check the drilled holes with the punch guide, to make sure they line up. For the pegs, I found a plastic knitting needle that exactly fitted the hole size. The knitting needle I used was an Arrow, 5.5 mm, but any smooth rod will do. Different brands might have different measurements, and you might need to hunt around for something suitable. Cut off the tapered end, then cut 2 pieces, 20 to 25 mm each. They must not be too long, as this can wear the holes from constantly changing the paper. One end of each peg has to be rounded, to allow the paper to slip over the peg easily. Place the peg in a drill, then as the peg spins, file the tip to a rounded shape. Use protective glasses to avoid injury from flying bits. Use use sandpaper or a sanding block to further smooth the shape. A soft cloth, dipped into a little Brasso, can be used to polish it for a smooth finish. Glue the pegs in place, using any good plastic, or epoxy glue. Glue the flat end, not the rounded part, into the drilled holes. Keep a piece of wax paper underneath the work, so that it does not adhere to the work area. Then, before the glue has set, fit the cardboard guide over the pegs. Do not push it all the way down, or it will stick to the glue. The punched guide will ensure the pegs stay aligned while the glue sets. Once the glue has set, remove the guide. Your peg bar is now ready to glue or tape onto the light box. Animation paper is also not easy to find. The standard 33 by 27 cm size sheets are not readily available, and the next best thing is the normal A4 size, 21 by 29.5 cm, that can be bought in reams of 500 sheets, for as little as $5 in some stores. A4 paper is slightly denser than animation paper, but is quite adequate for most needs. Obviously, a standard, 12-field, will not fit the smaller A4 paper, but a slightly smaller, 9-field, will be used. The field is the area that you work in, and the field of vision of the camera. Japanese and Korean studios use the 9-field as their standard. Pencils get blunt very quickly, and a good pencil sharpener is necessary. If you are planning a major project, an electric sharpener might be a good investment. Many studios do their cleanup drawings in ink, especially those to be scanned for use in a computer. Pigmented ink pens, or felt-tip pens come in a variety of line sizes, but test the pens first, as some marker pens tend to bleed. And finally, for thick and thin lines, nibbed, or calligraphy pens can be used. If you prefer to have a pencil line, the lines need to be clean and clear.